The Chicago Bears with another amazing victory here as they beat the New York Giants in Week 10, 24-20. Now they get to travel to Minnesota and take on their division rival in this Week 11 matchup. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this game and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned, leave a comment, let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. Trying to get to 100 new subscribers this week, and let's see if we can get that in this video alone. And Ryan, big win overall for Chicago. Go to 6-3 on the year, well within not only just the wild card hunt, but also in the division hunt as they're a half game back. I think, are they a half game back? Are they? I don't know how this works with a tie. I'm not. I got a D plus in math. So, but they're well within the division race, and this is a big game in general as they go up against Minnesota, who's 4-5 on the season, lost 27-19 to the Baltimore Ravens. And it seems like this is kind of this almost seems like the year Minnesota was expecting last year after they drafted JJ McCarthy. You have Sam Darnold in there as like a gap year. But you see some bright spots, but this defense definitely is regressing from what it was. And JJ McCarthy is showing improvement, but still also is essentially playing kind of like the first year starter that we all expected him to. So, Ryan, want to throw it over to you here. Caleb Williams, some nice heroics there at the end to take them to victory over the Giants here. Definitely seemed like the opposite of last year, where they felt like they could have just win a game in the second half of the season, and now it seems like they just can't lose a game.
Yeah.
What have you noticed with this Bears team? What do you like about them, and what do you think they need to do to pull off another victory here in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, as far as Caleb Williams goes with the Bears, I think he's finally buying into the system. And like, I think the last 5 or 6 weeks now, we've seen him kind of gradually improve and buy in more and more. And so I think that that's a really big thing for him as things start moving forward, is he continues to, buy in, operate the system at a really high level. And then from there, he can go in and make the heroic plays that, we've all seen him make. So I think that's going to be a really big thing there. The other thing that I've seen specifically from the offense, they're the second best rushing team in the league. And now I'm sure that game against Cincinnati, when you run for 261 rushing yards, heavily inflates your stats. But Ben Johnson has this offense, specifically this offensive line clicking. And you go look, Joe Tooney at left guard, Darnell Wright at right tackle. Like, they're just blowing guys up left and right off the line of scrimmage. And I think it's really impressive to see the turnaround from year to year that this team has made here with Chicago. Defensively, I think they're okay. They're not the worst defense in the league, but I definitely would not put them up there with the best defenses in the league. They're a little banged up, I think, on that side of the ball right now. And when push comes to shove, I think that they can get a stop if they need one. And I think in terms of defense, you can talk about numbers here or there, but I think that's the most important thing is can you get a stop there at the end of the game? As far as the Vikings go, this offense has really taken a step back with the loss of Sam Darnold in free agency and now JJ McCarthy taking over. You figured that there would be some hiccups there because he's essentially a rookie. Carson Wentz came in and ended up getting injured and needing season-ending shoulder surgery there. And so I think that has been a large part of some of their offensive issues. And then you just look to just other offensive injuries across the offensive line. Aaron Jones has been in and out of the lineup with some injuries as well. Defensively, I think is a little bit of a bigger surprise. So they're a very good pass rush in the pass defense team, but they're 22nd, I believe, in overall rushing yards allowed. And that to me, I think is the bigger surprise there, because usually Brian Flores teams are pretty stout in the trenches, and they just aren't this year. So yeah, they're 13th in overall yards allowed. They're 9th in passing yards and 22nd in rushing yards allowed. So that to me, I think, is the big surprise here for this Minnesota team, because I could have expected the regression on offense given the quarterback change. Did not expect a regression on the defensive side of the ball, especially one as drastic as this.
Well, especially too when you go back to look to see like week one when these two teams played, and the Bears offensively, I think, have grown a lot from then as well. And while it's Minnesota it's kind of unfair to say they've regressed offensively a little bit just because like JJ McCarthy also missed 5 for 6 weeks, whatever it was. But from that first game to now, I think that's what's interesting. It's like the confidence overall in the building. Chicago seems to be having a whole bunch of confidence, especially too as well with the injuries that they're having on the defensive side of the ball. They've been out with some guys for quite some time now in the secondary, like Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon. Then also too like Shamar Turner's on IR, Deo Odabengo is on. I'm sure I mispronounced that. I
Deo
apologize.
Odeingbo.
Odeingbo. I was close. But in general, though, they give up a lot of yards, but still they're finding ways to win these games here. And I think that's one of the things that it's like, hey, like tip your hat. They're still able to win these games. The Bengals game, they gave up a bunch of points in that one. But other than that, though, this defense isn't really giving up too many points really ever since that Lions 52-21 loss in week 2. Gave up 30 to Baltimore, yes, but other than that, though, I mean, 30 points to Baltimore is like if that offense gets going and Derrick Henry gets going, it is understandable. But still, though, I still think this is definitely a bend don't break type defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the thing is can Minnesota go and exploit this this defense over 60-minute period. We saw that in the week 1 game where Vikings came out in the second half and really started to exploit that secondary and JJ McCarthy got comfortable. So they're going to need to do that again. Being at home is going to help. But still though, I think the thing for me though is just where this Brian Flores defense is at the second half of the week 1 versus now, and then where Caleb Williams is at and this offense is at in the second half of that week 1 game versus now. I think there is a lot more confidence. Gonna have to monitor DJ Moore. He left the game and came back, but didn't really do too much in this. Actually, didn't do anything in this week 10 matchup against the Giants. No yards at all. But have to monitor his status, make sure he's still good to go. But this goes back to what I was talking about. So DJ Moore, your veteran receiver, goes down. Rome Odunze, 6 catches, 86 yards. Colston Loveland, 4 catches, 55 yards. Luther Burden, 3 catches, 51 yards. You have Swift catching balls out of the backfield. Still have Olamide Zacchaeus as well, too. Cole Kmet's still there. So even DJ Moore goes down, there's still a lot of other guys that go and contribute in the pass game for Caleb Williams to get open to and fit well within that Ben Johnson system. And as you mentioned earlier at the top of the show, second overall in rushing yards per game. And I think that's going to be the thing, too, with the amount of rushing yards that Minnesota's giving up. And they gave up a bunch today. Now it is to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, but still gave up 152 rushing yards today in today's game. And it's a division game. It's an NFC North game. It's still tough picking the Bears. I'm going to do it. I'm picking the Bears in this one, but I'm definitely still not super confident in it because it does seem like they're down and they're hanging around and then they come back in the fourth quarter, and they're able to find some heroics here. They've been able to do it to some, I would say, lesser squads as well, too. I would say Minnesota is technically a lesser squad since they have a losing record. But I mean, putting up 47 against the Bengals defense isn't really super impressive. A lot of teams have done that. Beating the Saints, beating the Commanders, beating the Raiders. That's been their schedule so far this year. Beating the Giants today, I mean, it is still the Giants. So this is technically their toughest test. Going back to, I would say, they lost to the Ravens, their first win of the season against the Cowboys at home. So this is one of the tougher tests that they've had so far this year. And so that's where I was like, I'm going to pick the Bears just because of kind of the trajectory of both of these teams. But at the same time, though, too, it's at home for Minnesota. This definitely is not going to be a cakewalk for this Bears team.
It's also a division matchup. So, like, really, who the hell knows? Like, the big thing for me is what you mentioned is that Bears offense is second in rushing yards per game, and the Vikings defense is 22nd in rushing yards allowed per game. And so, excuse me. I just think that that's going to be a really big mismatch. I think Ben Johnson coming from Detroit is going to have a lot of notes on this Brian Flores defense already. And then you throw on to the fact that it might just be a down year for them anyways, personnel wise. I think that that's going to be something that Ben Johnson is really going to be able to exploit in this matchup. So I really like the Bears in this one. Well, I shouldn't say I really like, because I'm kind of in the same camp as you. Where like I don't really think like either of these teams are predictable from one week to the next, but I do think that the Bears have the better chance to come out on top in this one. So going with Chicago.
Chicago. It's going to be interesting to see here because like I want to keep seeing McCarthy's development here, even if they don't make the playoffs, because the Vikings, they're 4-5 in overall. They're last in the NFC North. If you go look at the playoffs here, they're still in the wild card hunt. They're still currently 10th. They're only a game and a half behind San Francisco. They're half game back from Carolina. So Carolina and San Francisco still need to have their bye as well. And San Francisco is actually 8th. Chicago is the last team right now. In the playoffs. If the playoffs were held today at the 7 seed. So big game overall, two games back from Chicago. So this can help them out a lot. But still just curious. Want to keep seeing McCarthy keep developing with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison. There's obviously a down year for Justin Jefferson just with who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, there's still those glimpses in those moments from what I saw McCarthy do today. Is like where, okay, there's a piece there. Let's keep on developing from this. There's a piece there. Let's keep on developing there. I think this defense gets a little bit better. He gets a little bit more mature. I really do trust Kevin O'Connell to develop him. I think he's one of the more underrated coaches in the league. People give him a bunch of credit, but still, though, it's like he's the reason I think why Kirk Cousins did so well, why those Minnesota Vikings did so well, and I think one of the reasons too, also like things clicked so well with Sam Darnold last year, and so. I think McCarthy's going to be fine, even if this is still a down year for Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And just the development of the rookie quarterback is going to be the big storyline, I think, in this game specifically. So
yeah,
let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Chicago Bears? Will it be the Minnesota Vikings? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.